Welcome to the final data meeting presentation by Julian King. This presentation will cover an introduction of my group members and I, all 5 of the data meetings, as well as my reflections on the overall process. Once again, my name is Julian King. I currently teach 8th grade math in Prince George's County. I've been teaching for 4 years. I attended Virginia Union University for undergraduate studies. My group members were Heidi Glisson, a middle school math teacher in Montgomery County who is used to working with Common Core standards, and Paul Bellevue, a high school math teacher who works in a private school who is not used to working with Common Core standards. This is important to note because each group member brought something different to the data meetings. Heidi brought her knowledge of Common Core from a different county's perspective. Paul brought instructional tactics used in a private school that would come in handy when implementation time came around. Data meeting number 1. Each group member was asked to bring their own set of data. The group examined each set of data, then created notice and wonder statements from the data. Those statements led to our creation of our exploratory questions. The group concluded to use my data for the future data meetings in the data action model. Data meeting number 2 led us to triangulating the data. To triangulate the data, artifacts were gathered to explore instructional or learning gaps evident and the significance and prominence of each learning gap. Heidi's knowledge of Common Core was a great help with that, as she attained artifacts that were closely aligned with my data and the Common Core standards that my data was aligned with. Following data meeting number 2 was data meeting number 3. This allowed us to prioritize instructional and learning gaps based on significance. Each group member added additional research that was needed to come up with implementation tips associated with each gap. Once we prioritized the instructional and learning gaps, we had to create our SMART goals, determine instruction needed to fill the learning and instructional gaps, created SMART goals associated with the instructional gap, and created a metric that was used to evaluate the SMART goal and mastery of the SMART goal. Then we got to data meeting number 4, which was our action plan and implementation. The group created an action plan that focused on using new instructional tactics to aid in closing the gap. Paul's instructional tactics came in handy as Desmos and my script calculator are 2 things that he uses frequently in his private school. We also had to come up with how these tactics will be implemented in a classroom setting. Then led to data meeting number 5. For this meeting, we were assigned new partners to help in evaluating the success of our action plans. My partner was Shelley Gray, an assistant principal for DC Elementary School. She provided me great feedback such as less is more, where she concluded that less online tools is better for the students because they get a chance to focus on the material and get better at it and master the tools first. She also concluded that iReady Math is a blended learning program that offers Common Core aligned intervention support as another tool that I could use to help aid me and my students. As I look back at the process of all these data meetings, an area of strength for me was managing and applying data and representing data in multiple forms. Being a math teacher, all I do is work with data and everything is data driven. So that came as a great ease to me, and it was a great area of strength coming into the process. An area of growth for me will be to triangulate data with artifacts closely associated to the data, continue to explore deeper meaning of data, and pay attention to the many factors of data such as class size, learning needs, and more. And the most rewarding part of the process was to get a chance to use all of these multimedia tools. That way I can get better with hosting online classrooms and giving presentations to my peers. In closing, for more in-depth information pertaining to the data meetings and the process that went along with it, please visit my blog. Once again, this is Julian King, my final data meeting presentation. Thank you.